30 days, 50,000 words. This is NaNoWriMo. People are going to think you're crazy for wanting to participate in this madness. And really, who can blame them? I mean, you're just one writer. But it's been done, and I'm going to tell you how. If you don't have any time management skills right now, you will by the time NaNoWriMo is over. Basically, it is possible to be working, be a college student, a high school student, whatever you are, and still participate. You will learn how valuable each and every second of the day is, because you have to balance school, work, a social life, everything. And you learn how to balance your time. And I mean, it's a skill that you can carry with you for the rest of your life pretty much. So NaNoWriMo is pretty cool with that. The real key to finishing NaNoWriMo is to learn to put your inner editor into hibernation until December at least. I feel like one of the most common problems among Rhymos and they're not being able to finish and reach the 50k word goal is because they always want to go back and edit. Which is good, editing is good, but not in November. November is the time to get your first draft out of your head, get it on paper, give it some form of existence, even if that existence happens to be crap. Because I mean, really, every first draft is crap. Look at all the masterpieces. They, I'm sure, weren't beautiful, well-written masterpieces when they were first written and it was their first draft, Like, really, really great works of literature are only created through, like, rewriting and editing and all that, but that's not what November's for. November is just for getting that crappy first idea down on paper. Another important key to finishing NaNoWriMo is to make sure that you find out who your protagonist is, find out what he or she wants or needs, and then throw every obstacle you can think of in their way so that they can't get it, at least until the end if you ever decide to give it to them. But yeah, you should put your characters through as much torture as you can, because not only does it make for an interesting read, but it also boosts your word count, like, a lot. I mean, my characters would probably hate me because I've put them through some pretty awful things, from battling their evil clones to being thrown in jail for conversing with mimes. I mean, you gotta pretty much torture them. And the readers love it, so yeah, it works. Week 2 is the killer. It is the week that every Rhymmo dreads, because during the first, week, you're all excited, you have this brand new idea for a story and you're all pumped about it. You can't wait to write every day, and then week 2 comes along. And you realize, wow, this is pretty hard. Well, I'm here to tell you, do not get discouraged. It happens to the best of us. And don't put your story away, even if it's only for a day, because, putting it away and thinking, oh, I'll just come back to it tomorrow, I'll write extra and I'll be all caught up. No, it's not going to work. There's this certain emotional attachment that you create with your story after writing with it every single day. And if you stop for even a day, it's that attachment will be broken. So you don't want to do that. It's a bad idea. Just keep writing. It'll be like pulling teeth some days, but just keep going and you'll be glad that you did. Some writers like to think that they're suffering from something called writer's block. Writer's block, as I have come to understand it, is a myth. I used to claim that I had it too, but really, I after participating in Nano, this is my 3rd year doing it, so after 2 years of it, I have come to the realization that writer's block does not exist. If you are really stuck and you don't know what to do something drastic. Set something on fire in your story. make a zombie attack, I don't know, anything. Anything to make you keep going, anything to boost your word count, because NaNoWriMo is about quantity and not really quality. But yeah, just write anything to keep it going. It works, I swear. Set something on fire. It works every time. It's never failed me. Procrastination is a monster. I know this. I am the self-proclaimed queen of procrastination. I know it's a killer, I know that. But one thing I found really helps is a writing sprint. If you've never taken part in a sprint before, basically it has 3 steps. First, you set your timer for like 10 minutes or so. Then, you start writing, and then you don't stop. You just keep writing. And I swear, it works. Just like, write the first thing that comes to your mind in those 10 minutes. Like, do not let your fingers stop moving across the keyboard, or, you know, don't stop writing with a pen if you're doing it the old-fashioned way, whatever. Just keep writing, don't stop. After 10 minutes, see what you have. A lot of it's going to be crap, but I guarantee you at least 25% of it will be, like, useful to you in the remaining drafts of your story. So, yeah, it's a really helpful tool. One really helpful thing I learned, and I do this even when it's not NaNoWriMo, but I do it all the time, take a pad and paper with you everywhere you go, or some kind of, like, a pad and a pen, I mean. Take it everywhere you go, so that you can always take notes, because, you know, you could come across a brilliant idea when you least expect it. If you're, like, out to dinner or something, and you're, like, sitting behind a couple, and they're arguing, you know, take note of it, because you never know. Maybe your characters are arguing in your story, and you need some really good dialogue, you know. It's really not that creepy and stalkerish, but, you know, taking dialogue from real life, it gives your characters, people are able to relate to them more, and, you know, creating relatable characters is really what brings them to life. You know, they have to be realistic, they have to be characters that people can relate to, or else who's going to want to read it. So, yeah, that's really a good idea. Yeah. And you won't be a stalker, don't worry. I find that it's usually by the end of the 3rd week when this miracle occurs. By the end of the 3rd week, you realize that writing has become a habit, that you have to write every single day, and if a day goes by and you haven't written, you feel anxious. And, yeah, it's not a good feeling. Like, my first year doing Nano, I was feeling really anxious for a few hours, and I couldn't understand what it was, and I was out to dinner, I was at Friendly's with my family, and it just dawned on me, I haven't written anything today. So I immediately just, like, asked the waitress for a pen, and I started writing on a napkin, and, like, after that I immediately felt better. So, yeah. Nano's good for that, especially if you're, like, really serious about your writing and you want to make a career out of it, because it'll make you realize how important it is to write every day, and it'll get you into that habit, and it's a good habit to get into. So, yeah, there are a lot of benefits from NaNoWriMo. It is super important to make sure that you're pacing out your plot when you're writing. One of the most common fear among Rhymos is that their story will end before they reach the 50K goal. And, it's a reasonable fear, I think. So, you just have to know how to pace out the plot, add in a lot of rambling dialogue and long drawn-out descriptions, like, yeah, that really helps boost your word count. Just anything to boost the word count, pretty much. I mean, people cheat all the time, you know, with, like, if it's a hyphenated word, don't add the hyphen. You have no idea how much those words, like, add up in the end. Yeah, so just make sure your plot is nice and paced out. The last really good piece of advice I have for you, or I hope it's a really good piece of advice, I think it's good, is to make sure that you tell all of your friends and all of your family that you are participating in this, and that you are putting yourself through 1 month of grueling torture. I know that sounds awful, but it's true. You should tell everyone, because, well, for a few reasons, but I think the most important reason, well, you know, other than so they know what you're doing, and, like, they know that you're not, like, abandoning them if you, like, can't go out one night because you're going to be writing instead. But, other than that, it's a motivator for yourself, because if you know that other people know you're doing this, it's going to make you really want to finish, because it'll be embarrassing for you if you have to say at the end of the month, oh yeah, I didn't win. So, you know, if your friends and family know, you're going to want to win so that you can come out victorious and rub it in their face and be like, ha, see, you didn't believe me and I did it anyway. It's really a big motivator. Yeah, I don't know, just make sure that they know that you are doing this, that you will be spending more time with them come December, after you've caught up on a good night's sleep and you are more energized, because God knows you won't be sleeping much in November. I don't know why we do this to ourselves, I really don't. Computer. Check. Caffeine. Check. Outline, or what can be sort of an outline. Check. Muse. Uh-oh.